For the better part of about 20, if not more years, Team China has been dominating weightlifting in a way nobody's really ever seen before since the likes of the Bulgarians or the Soviet Russians. Not that that's very surprising, given that the rise of the Chinese national team was largely influenced and funded by the Soviets, but I digress, it's a topic for another video. My primary point in making this video is purely to say, in the time that I've been in the weightlifting community, I've never known anything outside of pure domination from the Chinese national team, and I think most people in the weightlifting world could say virtually the exact same thing. So it's certainly been interesting to see the position that the team's been in the past few years. Now, this isn't to say that they're falling off or they're struggling to have success. That's not the case at all. But they're definitely in a bit of a precarious position when it comes to what exactly they need to do in the near future when it comes to who they're going to continue to develop and who's going to be the face of the team. For so long now, it seemed that just given the way the Chinese system is, there's too many athletes, there's too many potential guys who could be the guy to win a gold medal per weight category. But now it almost seems as if that's not really the case. There's no one coming to save the day. There's no next guy who can step up. Now, that's not quite the case. We can look at the Chinese national competitions and say there are still a lot of guys who can make some pretty big things happen. And China is definitely a type of country to keep their cards close to their chest. But it is interesting to think that maybe they don't quite have the talent that they used to. For whatever reason, they're not producing it. It should also be said that this mainly applies to the men's side of the team. The women are still doing pretty amazing. Their reign of domination really isn't showing any signs of slowing. In fact, you could potentially say that they're more dominant than the men's side, especially when it comes to Liu Huanhua. Not only is she the most dominant athlete on the Chinese team currently, but it's not a stretch to say that she is one of the most dominant athletes in weightlifting, period. Of course, in the most recent Paris Olympics, she took the gold medal in the 81 plus category by 10 kilos, while recording a total that really wasn't anywhere in the ballpark of her best ever. And that's really only something we can compare to the likes of Lasha or, coming into a more modern age, Carlos Nassar. But I'm getting away from the main point of the video, so let's go ahead and get back to that, shall we? Tian Tao has always seemed to be one guy who's just one competition away from really fully coming out of his shell, winning that gold medal he's so deserving of, especially on an Olympic stage, but it's never quite panned out that way. And he's in an odd position now, previously being an 89 kilo and with the new weight categories coming up. And Team China found themselves in an even more confusing situation with Li Dayin also having to go up to 89. Now enter Giga Chad and you have another person in the equation that just kind of makes the situation unable to be navigated. You have so many talented guys, but they're all in the same weight category. What do you even do with that? Now, Weightlifting House made a video basically on the exact same subject, and I used that video when doing some research for this video, so I highly recommend you go check that out. But essentially what you need to know is Team China found it in a strengths position where they typically dominate lower weight categories, but the clear indicator was that they need to send one of these guys up. Li Dayin has virtually already maxed out the amount of muscle he can put on his frame, and he just finished going up to 89 kilos. Tian Tao just came down from 96. Asking him to go back up or keep going down could be catastrophic or career ending in terms of the results that you get out of it. So what do you do in a situation like that? What do you do when you typically have a team of guys 80 kilos and under and you need somebody to go up? 3 of some of the most incredibly talented weightlifters on your world-class team are all stuck in the exact same weight category. So the only option, go ahead and send the new guy up. And despite the newfound workload, routine, schedule that might come along with going up in a weight category, it seems like Giga Chad has really managed to find his way in this. In fact, I think me saying that might actually be the understatement of all understatements in terms of weightlifting. To go from virtually unrecognized on the international scene to Olympic champion in the span of about 3 years or less than an Olympic quad is one of the most ridiculous things that could happen to an athlete. And you really have to commend Liu Huanhua for taking that decision in stride and making the most of his situation. Being told you're going up 2 weight categories is something that's probably not easy to grapple with, especially knowing you're one of 3 athletes in your weight category. I could see many athletes taking it as a personal hit to their ego that the team wants them to be the one that has to go up in body weight. Almost as if to say, hey, we trust that these two other athletes can find success and medal in this weight category, but we're not so sure that you can. So you're going to be the one that has to go to a different weight category. And this finally connects back to the point I was making earlier. Just a few short years ago, after Tokyo, it seemed as though China's best days on the men's side were potentially, or at least for the moment, behind them, with Shizi Yang's best days behind him, being more injury-ridden than he ever had been, and Liu Huanhua retiring. It was pretty unclear who was really going to be the one to take the reins as the figurehead for the Chinese national team. It's been rather unclear whether Li Dayin's finally going to make that push to be an Olympic-level athlete, and I certainly don't think it's unfair to say at this point in Tian Tao's career, with everything that's happened, the weight category changes, his injury history, his best potential and best days are most likely behind him. So enter the 102 kilogram Olympic category and enter Liu Huanhua, aka Giga Chad. Alongside Carlos Nassar, I would absolutely have to say that Liu Huanhua has been my favorite lifter to watch develop in the past few years. As they've both continued to gain body weight and consistently put kilos onto their total across competitions and claim world records, it's so fun, refreshing, and exciting to see guys progressing and become the new faces of the sport, let alone their own national teams. The amount of strength, size, everything that he's been able to accomplish in just this past Olympic quad, it makes me really excited for what's to come in the lead up to LA in 2028, what he's going to be able to achieve in the different world championships, the numbers we're going to see. I'm incredibly excited. His success is not only good for China, but it's good for weightlifting as a whole. And furthermore, Team China should be incredibly thankful for the success of Liu Huanhua. Entering an age where their domination on the men's side almost seemed to be in question, Liu Huanhua has made it so that every single time they show up to a competition, they can virtually be assured a gold medal and potentially a world record. And for all my own personal doubts, as well as the doubts of others, that maybe despite the immense talent pool of the Chinese system, they wouldn't be able to produce the level of athletes that they had in the past. And just when I think something like that, in comes Giga Chad, and I'm proven wrong once again. Or perhaps even I'm still wrong, and the Chinese really did just get lucky, stumbling across an athlete who could succeed so well in a level of weight category that they typically don't have a very long history of success with, being 100 kilos and over. But to begin to end this video, it's almost pointless to sit here and quarrel with myself or people in comment sections of videos over whether this was all destined to be or China purely just got lucky with Giga Chad. But regardless, he has become the face of at least the men's side of Team China. And even beyond that, I would go as far to say he's become one of the faces of this generation of weightlifting. But ultimately, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about Giga Chad and what you think about the near future and far future for Team China and what that looks like. I'm really excited for their future. I'm really excited for his future, and I'd love to know what you guys think about it. But that's all from me. Take care, like, subscribe. Have a nice day.